Board member comments. Mr. Griffith.
Well, first, I'd like to wish happy birthday to Melissa and thank everybody for everything they do, staff, public works, and it's unusual times and everybody's done a terrific job. Next thing I've got, I'd like to make a motion that we give John permission to write a letter to the governor to consider opening rural Virginia a little faster than he's planning.
So we have a motion.
Yes, that's a motion.
To get it to discussion, I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second, and that would be for John to write a letter for the benefit of Alleghany County as a rural community in Virginia to open sooner than Northern Virginia and different areas under the current timeline.
I'll second it under the idea that that gets to discussion. All the other board members have the right to comment.
So I have a motion by Mr. Griffith and a second by Mr. Bennett. Melissa? Is it
We
just
have a discussion just to make sure everybody's okay with this?
absolutely?
Absolutely.
Board members?
That's past time.
Yes.
Past time.
I agree. When you look at numbers of rural or Southwest Virginia compared to Northern Virginia, the coast and the Richmond metro area, I mean, there's significant difference there.
Well, if you walk into Lowe's, Walmart, all these other stores, it's like Christmas. There's no pandemic there. I mean, everything is just, you're buying. I mean, but you're stifling these other small businesses to death, but it's kind of just back to normal. I know it's a bad situation, but you do it at your own risk.
And I do know that areas around us have done this, and I think Covington was looking at enacting a memorandum tonight, is that right? I think they had talked about it, I don't know for sure, but Jerry was there, so.
Well, my understanding is that listening to Governor Northam yesterday at his 2 p.m. COVID briefing, he's looking at a week from Friday to start phase 1 of reopening, which would allow, across the state, allow more than just essential businesses to open. I would vote no to pressing for regional openings. I think we are opening the door to chaos and to we don't know what. So I think, if we can wait 9 more days, I think we're going to have what we are all hoping for. So that's my 2 cents in this conversation.
Other board member comments?
It'll probably take 9 days for the letter to get down there.
That's just partial open. That's not for everything. That's just partial open.
The post
I think
office
what
will
we're
get it
basically-
originally quicker than 9 days. It takes 9 days to go from Clifton to Covington.
Yeah, I don't think good governor even knows we're up here.
I don't think they'll change the rules just for us, but I think by making a statement, we're kind of saying it's okay with us to go ahead and open up
You might
the state a little bit more.
put a thought in his mind anyway.
On the conference call with VACO and the staff last week, that was also especially from the 2 of our one neighboring county and one that's in the New River Valley. They pushed that issue quite a bit during the conversation. So it's certainly being discussed in other parts of rural Virginia.
And my concern is, for our area and smaller rural areas, is that now the metrics have changed for positive cases, where the numbers have been skewed a little bit, where you're not going to have a plateau or a downward cycle at this point for some time. And I don't know if that is beneficial or a detriment to opening the state. So I think a lot of people are struggling to hang on right now in the restaurant business and the service industry. So I could see it both ways.
So exactly what are we voting on? We have a motion and a second. We have to take a vote.
A vote to have John draft.
Mr. Griffith, you asked, what we're voting on is to ask our county administrator to write a letter requesting, say exactly what do you want to say, Griff?
I'd like to be able to request that we open rural Virginia a little faster than we are other areas. In other words, do it regional. And give some flexibility. I know Bedford has written a letter to him similar to this. And we're not the same as Northern Virginia. And it's
Thank God.
the sad thing that's going on, I understand that. But we have small businesses that are losing everything they hoped for, and this will give them some hope to try to get back. I mean, 9 to 10 days, that's phase 1. Then he's looking at 14 more days to phase 2 and 14 more days to phase 3. That's kind of getting us out into June, and I feel like regionally we need to be able to open rural Virginia a little faster.
There's one other thing that we got to consider also is that it's the communities on state lines where states are opening beside us,
Right.
like West Virginia and Tennessee, that border Virginia, North Carolina. We're held to a different standard. So I could definitely understand trying to be more like the state that we do business with.
Yeah, you say roughly half the workforce for the West Rock is coming out of West Virginia, and they're going to be open, and so why not open us,
So I have a motion by Mr. Griffith to consider opening Virginia counties regionally instead of blanketed. Is that correct, or a blanket opening?
Asking the governor to consider it.
Correct. Asking the governor's consideration. I need a second.
I've already seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Bennett. Melissa?
Mrs. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Griffith?
Yes,
Mr. Nicely?
Yes.
Mr. Shull?
Yes.
Ms. Vannorsdall?
No.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gard?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner, if I can add one more.
Sure, John.
getting back to the comments, that's pretty well all I have. Let's everybody be safe.
Thank you, sir. I think John had a comment on your...
Well, not on that particular, I failed to, during my section, I failed to mention, there's another group of people, and they were on the agenda tonight, and that's the staff at DSS that are working extremely hard. They're seeing a tremendous amount of volume of work come through their organization. At some point in time, we need to revisit that item, and I think it's an important step to take, but we also need to recognize that now's not the time to do it. We need to get through this, figure out what we're going to look like economically, but those employees there at DSS are doing a tremendous amount of work, and I failed to include them when I mentioned the staff earlier, and I just wanted to make sure I corrected that. If you see those folks, make sure you thank them and tell them that that item will come back up later this year.
Mr. Shull.
Yes. I would like to tell Ryan that I'm glad you caught the glitch in the contract and we got that squared away. And hopefully we can get this radio system up and working so that the law enforcement and fire and rescue can have communications like they need to have when you're back up in the boondocks trying to get help. I'd like to wish Melissa a happy birthday. I know this is not the place for her to be. We should have brought a birthday cake and a bottle of champagne or something. And another thing I'd like to say, I don't know if any of y'all know Tom O'Mara, who passed away. He was a big force in the Clifton Forge community football down there. When he came to Alleghany, and after I went to the service, come back and did my thing, I worked 25 years for him in the press box, selling 50/50s, making popcorn, making sure all the referees had food, and all the referees that come to Alleghany said they would much rather come to Alleghany and come to the press box than they would any other press box on the football team. And I'd like to send prayers out to him and his family. And he always had that thing, give me $1. Give me $1. But I sit up there and tore millions and millions and millions of tickets up in 25 years working with him, and he was a heck of a guy. He was a World War II veteran, received a Purple Heart, 3 ribbons of commendation, and he will be missed in Clifton Forge in Alleghany County. Thank you.
Mr. Shull. Mr. Nicely.
Yeah, appreciate Griff's comments and letter sent to the governor. We do have to open the state back up. Spent a lot of money tonight, and that no reflection on right. I'm getting old and conservative, I guess, but all this stuff is hitting at a bad time right now, and it's going to take a toll on us. It's going to take a toll on everybody. These small businesses are struggling, and some of them may not open. They may not come back. I don't think we can wait 30 more days or 14 more days. They've got to work. I'm going to wish Melissa a happy birthday again. I thought Melissa would take a night off, but she dedicated to do that. So. But appreciate all we're doing here. We're facing a tough budget year. I know the budget committee's been meeting and what they come up with. So we'll find out next week where we're at on that. So have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Cox.
I'd like to thank everybody for the time, both here and through Zoom, that was able to attend tonight. When it comes to fire, rescue, and police department, you know, that's a passion for me. I know it's a lot of money, and Mr. Nicely, I know that makes you cringe when you see numbers like that, that we spend. But again, I come back to every time and I think about it that we can't put a price on our life. And that's just a passion that I have in our community. So to me, when we invest in that, we're invested in our entire community and surrounding areas. I think what John said with the Department of Social Services is they're doing an excellent job, and they're overloaded as well as a lot of the other agencies. But those girls and the gentlemen up there, if you see them out and about, definitely praise them for what they're doing behind the scenes. They may not come in contact with people one-on-one, face-to-face, but they are doing a lot of that work that we probably wouldn't even imagine that's going on with that. And to end mine, I call her Missy, and Mr. Stratner, when the first time I said Missy, and he's like, Missy, and I was like, yeah, he said, you must have known her for a long time. And so we went back to school together, but she's still older than I am. So I tell her that. But she's a wonderful person, and I wish you a happy birthday. And I know that you're going to have a wonderful one when you leave here and celebrate. It might just be you yourself, but you can celebrate. So
Call it in the morning.
yeah, happy birthday. John did not hear that. So.
You can teleconference.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Vannorsdall.
Yes, Melissa, yay. Happy birthday. We will not ask how old you are.
I'm wearing black.
I got it. I would like to, after listening to everyone tonight and to understanding how hard the county staff has worked through this pandemic, and also specifically to work cooperatively with the town of Clifton Forge, the city of Covington. So important as we go forward to have that kind of cooperative work going with those of us in this region. So I am very, very grateful to John and his staff for keeping an eye on that and going forward with that. I hope that all of us will be willing to, if called upon, to work with DHCD to help them get, how do we say this, in gear, to filter the money from Richmond down to the cities, towns, and counties for which it's intended. I can only speak for myself, but I am very happy to do that. If there are any letters that need to be written, phone calls that need to be made, please ask, because we need that DHCD money for sure. Gratitude to everyone who is stepping forward, essential services workers, the public works folks, the healthcare workers. Extremely grateful to all of them. We can do this, and it's not been an easy time for any of us, but going forward, if we stay together, we can do it. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Bennett?
You mentioned Melissa's age. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go wish her a happy 29th birthday. We'll leave it at that.
I can't give you a hug.
Do what?
I can't give you a hug.
Okay. Everybody talks about being safe. To me, the way to be safe is just be smart. Pay attention to what's going on around you, what you're doing. Just be smart about this whole thing, and we'll get through it just fine. But think. That's what everybody has to do. To you.
Thank you, sir. A lot of fine things have been said this evening. Again, Melissa, happy birthday. I got you early back there in the other room. But thank you all. Another hybrid meeting this evening with live and teleconferencing. Suzanne, I failed to recognize you because you materialized or dematerialized from the room to the TV screen early in the meeting. So that was pretty neat. Again, it's hopefully we can get the state open. We can safely get the state open, get businesses back in gear, all under safety regulations, social distancing, sanitation, disinfecting, whatever it takes. I would like to recognize John and Ryan, although, for the towers and everything you all have done, but I wanted to ask you, during this pandemic shutdown, if one of you two could do my hair, if we go into the next meeting, it's going to be another 6 inches high. So I think I'm going to go the way you all.
I'll volunteer.
All right. I'd like to ask one of you two to please cut it for me if possible. Everybody have a safe May. We're coming into allergy season, and kids are out. I know they've been out, but God bless the parents, the teachers, the principals. I did see a thing where a parent had written a letter to the school system and said, "You were wrong. My child's not a pleasure to be around." I can certainly feel for them. But thank you all, and enjoy your summer. We're getting to that point now. Just stay safe, and hopefully we can beat this thing. Exactly. With that, I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Nicely, second by Mr. Bennett.
14th.
Oh, we'll adjourn to the 14th, the budget session. So I have a motion by Mr. Bennett, a second by Mr. Nicely. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.